offering, thou must offer it unto Yahweh. For Manoah knew not that he was an angel of Yahweh. And Manoah said unto the angel of the Lord of Yahweh, What is thy name? When thy sayings come to pass, we may do thee honor. So basically saying, what's thy name, so that when these things come to pass, we can say, hey, look, it was because of you that this happened. And the angel of Yahweh said unto him, Why askest thou after my name, seeing it is secret? So Manoah offered a kid with meat offering, and offered it upon a rock unto Yahweh. And the angel did wondrously, and Manoah and his wife looked on. For it came to pass, when the flame went up toward heaven from off the altar, that the angel of Yahweh ascended in the flame of the altar. And Manoah and his wife looked on it, and fell on their faces to the ground. But the angel of Yahweh did no more appear unto Manoah and his wife. Then Manoah knew that it was an angel of Yahweh. So basically, Yahweh had this woman being barren. Then he sent his angel, his messenger, to signify that she's going to have a son, and that her son was going to rise up and be a judge and help Israel out of their captivity of the Philistines. And he gave the order in which the child should be brought up as a Nazarite, which means they had the Nazarite vow, which is to not cut their hair. And I think they didn't drink any wine. That was the Nazarite vow. So I've got another account of another woman who couldn't bear children, and it was a reproach to her, which is in 1 Samuel. If I'm not mistaken, Samuel was also a Nazarite, I believe. So this is the book of 1 Samuel, and it says, Now there was a certain man of Ramathahim Zophim, of the mount of Ephraim, and his name was Elkanah, the son of Jeroham, the son of Ehud, the son of Tohu, the son of Zuh, the Ephraite. Now this is interesting, because when you trace back the genealogy and lineages in the Bible, it always goes through the line of the father. You know, you're never going to have it being traced through the line of the mother, because you're ordered according to the house of your father. I think that the account of that is in Numbers 1 and 18. Let me just get that. That's the spirit, man. I opened the Bible, and it literally fell at the exact page where the precept is. So that's all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai for that. And it says, Numbers 1 and 18, it says, And they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month, and they declared their pedigrees after their families by the house of their fathers, according to the number of their names, from 20 years old and upwards by their polls. So that goes to show you're supposed to declare the name of your house through the line of your father. So who your father is very important. Who your mother is, it doesn't matter, because a woman can bring forth a seed of any nation, but an Israelite man can only bring forth an Israelite child. An Edomite man can only bring forth an Edomite child, so on and so forth. So who your father is very important, because that determines your nationality. So going back to the book of 1 Samuel, in verse 2, this man named Elkanah, and it says he had two wives. The name of one was Hannah, and the name of the other was Peninnah. And Peninnah, that's how you say it, had children, but Hannah had no children. So there's, again, kind of like a similar situation to where Jacob had Leah and Rachel, and they were, and Leah could bear children and Rachel couldn't. Similar situation here where Peninnah had children and Hannah had none. Yeah. And this man went up out of his city yearly to worship and to sacrifice unto Yahweh of hosts in Shiloh. And the two sons of Eli, Hophni and Phinehas, were priests of the Lord. Priests of Yahweh were there. Then when the time was, Elkanah offered. And when the time that Elkanah offered, he gave unto Peninnah his wife, and to all her sons and her daughters portions. But unto Hannah he gave a worthy portion, for he loved Hannah, but Yahweh had shut up her womb. Which means she was barren, she couldn't have children. And as he did so year by year, when she went up to the house of Yahweh, she provoked her, therefore she wept and did not eat. So Hannah, I've read the wrong verse. Let me jump back up a bit. But unto Hannah, this is 1 Samuel 1 and 5. But unto Hannah he gave a worthy portion, for he loved Hannah, but Yahweh had shut up her womb. And her adversary also provoked her sore, for to make her fret, because Yahweh had shut up her womb. And as he did so year by year, when she went up to the house of Yahweh, so she provoked her, therefore she wept and did not eat. Then said Elkanah her husband to her, Hannah, why weepest thou? And why eatest thou not? And why is thy heart grieved? Am I not better to thee than these 10 sons? So basically the woman was so upset that she wouldn't eat, and she was constantly weeping and all this kind of stuff because she had no children. And so in 1 Samuel 1 and 9 it says, So Hannah rose up after they had eaten in Shiloh, and after they had drunk. Now Eli the priest sat upon a seat by the post of the temple of Yahweh, and she was in bitterness of soul, and she prayed unto Yahweh and wept sore. And she vowed a vow and said, O Yahweh of hosts, if thou will indeed look upon the affliction of thine handmaid, and remember me, and not forget thine handmaid, but will give unto thine handmaid a man child, then I will give him unto Yahweh all the days of his life, and there shall no razor come upon his head. So that's the Nazirite vow again. And it came to pass, as she continued praying before Yahweh, Eli marked her mouth. Means that he was watching and he saw her moving her mouth, but she was moving her mouth but no words were coming out, because she was praying in the spirit. And it came to pass, as she continued praying before Yahweh, that Eli marked her mouth. Now Hannah, she spake in her heart, only her lips moved, but her voice was not heard. Therefore Eli thought she had been drunken. And Eli said unto her, How long wilt thou be drunken? Put away thy wine from me. So you thought she was a wine bibber. And Hannah answered and said, No, my lord, I am a woman of a sorrowful spirit, and I have drunk neither wine nor strong drink, but have poured out my soul before Yahweh. Count not thine handmaid for a daughter of Belial, for out of thy abundance of my complaint and grief I have spoken hitherto. Then Eli answered and said, Go in peace, and Yahweh of power of Israel grant thee thy portion that thou hast asked of him. So she was praying for a child, and she said, If you give me a man child, I'm going to give him up to you to be a servant, which would be a prophet, a servant in the temple. And they rose up in the morning early and worshipped before Yahweh, and returned and came to their house to Ramah. And Elkanah knew Hannah, which means he went into her. As I said, when it says he goes into her or he knew her, it means he had sex with. And Elkanah knew Hannah his wife, and Yahweh remembered her. Wherefore it came to pass, when the time was come about after Hannah had conceived, that she bore a son and called his name Samuel, saying, Because I have asked him of Yahweh. And the man Elkanah and all his house went up to offer to Yahweh the yearly sacrifice and his vow. But Hannah went not up, for she said unto her husband, I will not go up until the child be weaned, and then will I bring him, that he may appear before Yahweh, and there abide forever. So, and Elkanah her husband said unto her, Do what seemeth thou good, tarry until thou hast weaned him, only Yahweh established his word. So the woman abode, and gave her son suck until she weaned him. And when she weaned him, she took up there with him 3 bullocks, and 1 ephah of flour, and a bottle of wine, and brought him into the house of Yahweh in Shiloh, and the child was young. And they slew a bullock, and brought the child to Eli. And she said, O my lord, as thy soul liveth, my lord, I am the woman that stood by thee here praying unto Yahweh. For this child I prayed, and Yahweh hath given me my petition, and I asked of him. Therefore also I have lent him to Yahweh, as long as he liveth, and he shall be lent to Yahweh, and he worshipped Yahweh there. So Samuel became a great prophet, and his birth was special. That's lucky I just got to change the battery.